Oh.
That's a great way to start an episode.
Hi. I'm tired. Welcome back to another episode of Animated Chaos. I'm Shy.
I'm leaving that.
Leave it.
Kyle.
Leave it. Can you see how done we are? But no, this episode we're going to be talking about animes that we started watching and stopped and the reasons why. So you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start. So I started Mob Psycho 100 because everybody was saying it was amazing.
I liked it, I think.
Well, I thought she liked that psychopath, whatever one.
The one with the guns?
Yeah, this is not that.
Oh, no, sorry.
Well, whatever. Mob Psycho 100. I don't mind the art style, even though it's kind of weird. It's intentionally kind of ugly. Like it's intentionally drawn to look very ugly at times.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is that the characters aren't grabbing me. The story's not grabbing me, and that's my issue with a lot of these that I have on my list. The whole premise just isn't really grabbing me. And because I'm not a fan of the art style, even though I don't mind it, I don't like it either. I just can't. I've given it at least a solid... I don't want to say I've given Mob Psycho 100 at least a solid 4 or 5 episodes. And mind you, it's only about a 12 or 13 episode series, so it's not that long.
So you watched it halfway?
I gave it at least a third of its episodes to try to catch me. And I actually have it listed here on my little list of how many episodes I'm willing to give a series based on the number of total episodes that a series has in order for it to grab me.
You're generous. I gave it 3 episodes. Doesn't matter how many episodes. You got 3 episodes to get me.
Well, for me, like a 12 episode series, I give it 2 or 3. If it doesn't grab me by 3 episodes, which is literally a quarter of the entire series, it ain't going to get me. For 24, I give it 5 to 8. I think that's more than reasonable. That's upwards to a quarter of the entire series, season, whatever, however many episodes. And that's actually upwards to a third even, and that's plenty. Then with a series that's got 48 to 50, I give it a solid 10 episodes. That's plenty. That's a fifth of the entire thing, and that's more than enough to give you an idea. And then anything that's over 50, I will give it a maximum of 20 unless it's really not grabbing me. And for me, Mob Psycho 100 it's not grabbing me. I get people love it. I get people think it was really entertaining and interesting and exciting. But for me, nothing about it grabbed me at all. So I just gave up on it. And that's honestly, this is going to...
Hey, you're going to get roasted for this next one.
Oh, I will be absolutely roasted, toasted
for this next one.
I will be roasted, toasted, and burned alive.
Mm-hmm. The tornado is going to come for you. Go ahead, say it.
No, it's your turn.
Oh, so
it's your turn.
You're trying to detour, okay.
I'm detouring.
Okay.
I ain't even hiding that fact.
Now, I have this on I stopped watching, but I might generally go back and give it another shot. It was this, The Outcast. I can't pronounce that, so I'm not going to try. Hitori no Shita?
Nope.
The Outcast?
I haven't even heard of that one.
I think it's a Chinese one. It's like a Chinese anime.
Okay.
Like, at least the art style gives me that. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like the art style to a point. It gave very parkour.
Oh, parkour?
Yeah, it was given that and wanted to see.
Oh, the parkour anime. I think you told me about that.
Yeah, and so like that scene grabbed me. I was like, oh, what anime is that? Let me find it. And so I started watching it.
Didn't grab you, huh?
Because you know how it's clickbaity. They showed you that one interesting scene, and then so you have to watch it, and I'm just like, when are we going to get to that?
And then it winds up being the final episode, and you're like, I watched all of this for that,
that's
and it wasn't even worth it.
Well, that's the thing. I after I got to episode, I think 2 or something, I'm just like, can we skip to the good part? Because it's like, it's a lot going on, but not enough for me to pay attention to. Not enough to hold my attention. But I might actually go back.
So it's a lot and too much, or it's too much and not enough at the same time?
Yeah, it's really that. At least the first part of it. Because the first episode is interesting. You're just like, ooh, cool. Like, you didn't know that you're technically I think it was his grandfather, because he went to his grandfather passed. And so he was going back to the old, I went to the city and I got to go back to this old town in the country, and the boondocks basically. And now all of a sudden these people are coming after me. Why are they coming after me? Well, turns out your grandfather was actually like this really big badass and he had all these secrets. And now he was technically part of the. And he goes, "Oh, great! Now the bullet's on me, the red eye's on me." So I get where they were going with it, and it was interesting enough for me to at least watch till the second episode. But then it got kind of weird, and then I was like, I'm gonna put this on a back burner. So I might actually go back and finish watching because the art style, like the Parker, like the animation is really, really good. It was just, I think it wasn't my time to watch it because I've done that with a couple of animes where I started watching, I was like, this is weird, and then I left it, and then I'd come back to it, and I'd be like, oh, why did I didn't give it a chance the first time around? It just wasn't. It wasn't
grabbing you then, but it might grab you later.
Yeah, it's kind of like with K-pop. It sure didn't grab me at the beginning, but now it got me in a show code and never letting me go.
Yeah.
That's another story.
All right, I'm in trouble.
Very much so.
I already did a short on this one, and I'm surprised I haven't been like absolutely roasted for this one. I can't get into Jujutsu Kaisen. I've tried like 3, 4, 5 times. I've tried. I've watched at least a solid 10 episodes of the series, so I'm giving it more than a fair shake. Characters ain't grabbing me. Story ain't grabbing me. Nothing about it's grabbing me. I've seen stuff like this already plenty of times before. It's nothing new that I haven't already seen. Ain't into it. I've tried my damnedest, but I cannot get into it. I don't know what to tell you. It's just another one of those. It's another one of those ones where it's. You remember when they were touting Black Clover as being like the next big anime of its genre, whatever, and everybody and their dog was like, "This is gonna be amazing! It's gonna be amazing!" And then it just kind of not fully petered out, but petered out in terms of hype.
Well, I like Black Clover, so and you don't like Black Clover.
I tried.
I also like JJK, and you don't like JJK. So again, our opinions. I get where you're going because they did hype up Black Clover. Like
they hyped up Jujutsu Kaisen, and I couldn't get into it either. I'm sorry. I tried. I give it my fairest.
Did they finish Black Clover? Because I stopped watching it.
No, it's on hiatus.
Because I heard that they put it on a hiatus, and so I put myself on hiatus from watching it. Because
they put it on an indefinite hiatus. Whether it's ever coming back or not, they haven't said.
Yeah, so I stopped watching it at a certain point because I was getting really into it. And then I heard that, and then I was like, well, shit. So that was kind of one of the ones I stopped watching, not because I wanted to, but because it's like, it's going to tick me off that it's probably going to, it's a hiatus where there's a cliffhanger and you're just waiting forever and eternity.
And let me be completely fair in saying this. I gave Black Clover 100 episodes. I watched enough of it to be more than fair with my determination that it is not for me.
Black Clover, I watched it almost into its entirety, and it spoiled me from filler episoded anime because it does not have a lot of filler. It gets straight to the point. And so now I have been spoiled with that because, let me put it this way. One Piece will always be one of my favorite animes, but One Piece is full of a lot of filler. It's full of filler.
Yeah.
It's a filler. Right? So I got so used to that when I watched Black Clover, I was like, oh, shoot, this angsty part is about to come up. We're going to be riding this out for 10, 20 episodes.
Or more, especially with One Piece.
Or more. And it was like, nope, resolved in like the next episode, if not the same episode. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And then you had this villain that comes up and they're going to be mysterious or you're going to be fighting them for 50,000 episodes. Nope, 2 episodes. Oh, okay, cool. So I got used to, it was fast paced, but it was done in a way that you didn't feel rushed. I'm gonna put it that way. And so I got used to that. And so now going back and continuing to watch One Piece, I'm annoyed, and I feel bad because I'm very much annoyed because it's a good anime, but these filler episodes, give me a break somewhere. Give me a good break. And I get it. It's because it's been running for so long. It's like we need a breather, especially like when the universe with Mama, the whole arc was just a whole big freaking
dive. That took a long time to get done.
It was diabetes. Okay, we were unhealthy through that entire thing. It was so much stress going on. So we needed a little bit of a filler in between it. Okay, I get some fillers. You just want to just be like, a little brain dead moment here, just not stressing about nothing. I get that. But when you basically make an entire different arc of filler, and then we jump back into, okay. Like people say, we needed Skypiea. Did we need Skypiea? We got Frankie. I'm pretty sure Frankie would have been able to discover to make one of those skiing scooter thingies made out of Coca-Cola. Like, come on, was it needed? I don't know. But I mean, I get it. The point of it was because Usopp was nothing but a big ass liar. So the fact that the story was kind of wrapping up with because the guy was like, he's a liar and there's no such thing as Skypiea, and then they discover Skypiea. Like, oh, so he wasn't a liar. So I get where they were going with it, but it's like, don't get me wrong, I did like the Skypiea arc, but some of these fluffers just are not needed.
Well, there you go. I'm in trouble. Jujutsu Kaisen, and while we were at it, Black Clover, I can't. I'm sorry. I tried. I gave it more than a fair share on both of them. Neither of them grabbed me, and I think what it is truly that I've already seen so much of this genre of anime. And I'm going to be honest with you, you can change the characters all you want. You can change a few story points all around as much as you want. But point for point for point, they're going to do a lot of the same thing over and over and over again because that is the genre.
But I mean,
and I'm bored.
At this time, it's kind of like isekais. It's kind of like that. Like, there's only so many times, there's only so many ways this person can get into a new world or just abducted into a new world. Yeah. And how do you spin it off? Like, there's a lot of them that I'm watching that are on the premise of almost the exact same thing, but the storyline's different, so therefore it's holding my attention. And it's very enjoyable for me. But my next one, I'm upset that it's not. Did they complete this? The Gray Man.
The Gray Man?
Yeah.
The Gray Man Hollow is technically finished. I think it was only supposed to be 13 episodes. I think it was supposed to mainly follow Kanda specifically because it was doing a lot of his backstory that we didn't get in the first part. And nobody really liked, well, I can't say nobody. A lot of people didn't like Kanda because he was annoying, because he was hateful for no good reason. And so giving him a season that was very specifically focused heavily on him, even though the other characters were involved.
Was it supposed to make people like him?
I think it was supposed to help give people an understanding of why he was such a jackass.
But The Gray Man as a whole, I just stopped watching it.
Well, The Gray Man as a whole never actually got fully finished because its manga artist got sick for so long that she had to go on an indefinite hiatus. So the series went on an indefinite hiatus, and she finally came back. I think she's actually finally finished the manga, finally. Good for her. But the problem for me with The Gray Man as a whole was always that it started out so Halloween specific, which is honestly perfect for the time of the year. And then it just progressively got less and less and less. Like, as she got sicker in her time, her backgrounds became less and less Halloween-y. And because of that, it followed through in the anime to a fault. And then we get all this stuff about the bad guys maybe actually being the good guys in some regard.
No, if you bad, you stay bad. Or, I mean, okay.
Well, they were all supposed to be like the sons of Adam, and I like, okay, interesting. I'm compelled. But then I'm also kind of irritated because I'm like, where are you going with this is what I want to know.
Yeah, it's like...
And then you go nowhere with it. I'm just like...
So you just threw that little Easter egg out there just for it to rot.
Oh, it wasn't an Easter egg. It's the story plot they decided to go with, and they went in deep with it.
And did nothing with it.
It faltered because ultimately the anime paused after about, I think it ran for 50 episodes. It may have ran a little longer than that, but I think it ran for about 50 episodes, which was common for the anime of that era of around 2005 to just before 2010, where a lot of anime got 48 to 50 episodes. And this was one that needed a whole lot more. Actually, no, this one had over 100 episodes. The dub is what got paused about 50 or so episodes in, actually. And the whole series got a little over 100 episodes, but even after a little over 100 episodes, it just stopped. It never got finished.
I stopped watching. I don't remember what the character was. He was in his carriage, and then he got ambushed and killed, and the device that the fat dude was going after, he found it. And I'm like, okay, so we're just going to kill everybody? We're just killing everybody? Which, again, goes back to animes or just TV shows in general. I don't like that. And so that kind of put a little damper and burn on mine. But what's your next one?
For me, I actually just finished calling this one done. I got halfway through it. It's 12 episodes long, and it's called...
to watch. Isn't that good?
It's not what I wanted it to be. So here's the thing. It's called The Detective is Already Dead. With a title like that, what are you expecting?
The detective's dead?
Yes, you're expecting the detective is a ghost, and it's going to be doing mysteries, supernatural type mysteries, with the character being a ghost. You want to know? You want to know what it is?
What?
It's a fucking love story.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a love story. The detective was alive in the first episode, and they did a special hour-long episode, 45 minutes long, whatever. our special hour-long episode that starts with this girl, who's the detective, basically being some kind of prodigious teenage detective, whatever. And she somehow planned all this out for this boy who always winds up finding himself in every possible kind of trouble. Like, he's run into countless murders that he's wound up having to report. He's wound up in every kind of bad luck situation you can imagine. So much so that, like, the police know him and they're always like, how are you always winding up near these? And I'm like, I don't know.
Because you're causing it.
No, he wasn't the cause of it. He was not the cause of it. No, he was just horrendously bad luck. Per his bad luck, she somehow planned for him to have some sort of a, I guess, kidnapped, if you will. Not necessarily kidnapped, but like held ransom, hostage, whatever, so that he would take a plane ticket and take an attaché case, I think is what they called it. Take a plane ride on there, and somehow this detective girl is the one who planned that portion of it. Not everything else, just that portion of it. Knowing in advance that there was going to be some, like, she's supposed to be some kind of super duper detective, knowing in advance that all this stuff is going to take place on this plane. And then there is a supernatural thing where there's supposed to be some sort of group that's doing like human experimentation and stuff like that. And she's basically the enemy of them in that. And she works for some sort of detective agency that I don't even remember the name of off the top of my head. But the bad guy group is called SPEC, S-P-E-C, or S-P-E-S, rather. She basically decided that he was going to be her Watson, if you will. That's the best way to put it, her Watson. And then all the while, she has already fallen in love with him. Over the course of like the next 3 years, they wind up in every kind of detective, weird, like supernatural situation.
And if he's a troublemaker,
she was really in love, though.
Well, yes, but I feel like if you know he's a trouble magnet, and
that's it. He's a trouble magnet. That's what he called himself.
If you know you're a trouble magnet, and you know he's a trouble magnet, and you're a detective,
she's a legitimate.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying But what's I'm trying to say?
I don't know.
You know he's a trouble magnet, and so therefore wherever he goes, trouble will be there somewhere. So yes, you are a detective, but you know you're always going to have a case if you keep this little troublesome thing near you. So yes, I love you, and I want to be with you, but at the same time, you're going to keep me employed because what are you talking about? There's always going to be a case somewhere.
Well, here's my thing with it. My thing with it is that what I expected with a title like that is supernatural murder mystery type stuff.
Yeah.
I was excited by the title. I was really thinking it was going to be neat. And like, in all due fairness, whenever they go with like Lolita art style for some stuff, it's going to have some sort of cutesy element. So I was prepared for that. But then by episode 2, 3 years have passed. He's now just trying to live a normal and at some point during one of their mysteries, about a year prior, she died. And her heart got transplanted into another girl who needed a heart transplant. And so this girl comes up and meets the boy, not knowing who was her donor, and asks him, hey, you're that detective, right? And he's like, no, you got the wrong person. No, I don't. And so she pesters him to figure it out. And so with a little bit of work, figures it out. Come to find out, the detective who died in that one thing there in the backstory portion is the one whose heart got donated to the girl. And so it became the girl's mission to find the person who this heart was searching for.
Which was him.
Which was him, because she was genuinely in love with him, the detective girl was. And yeah, it's cute, whatever. Problem is... The detective herself is dead.
Is already dead.
And her heart is the one that was used in the transplant.
So are they still doing mysteries, or was that it?
The girl, this was literally episode 2 that was all figured out. From there on, the girl who got the heart transplant now becomes basically the new protege, new Watson, whatever, to the boy who now has to take the mantle as the lead detective because...
He's the oldest?
Well, he knows what he's doing, and basically, with this girl now having the detective's heart in her, like, it just stirs everything up. Things start going cuckoo crazy again. I gave it 6 out of its 12 episodes, okay?
So you gave it half? I
gave it half of it, and I said to myself, this is not at all what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I am not interested.
Because, because this kept popping up on my Crunchyroll, and I kept debating, I guess that's the right word. I kept debating if I wanted to watch it or not, and I never really added it to my list, but I thought about adding it.
I'm sure it's a fine series if you want to watch it and you want to finish it. At least you know what you're getting yourself into. What I wanted out of the series and what it gave me were two completely different things. And don't get me wrong, I love a good romance anime. I do. But when you hear a title, the detective is already dead.
You don't want that to be the premise of it.
No, not at all. You want a murder, mystery, supernatural, horror type of series that's going to be really interesting and compelling.
Watch that then.
I saw that. I'm going to take a look at that one.
It is so good.
I'm going to take a look at it and see if it's anything that will hold my interest.
I tried season 2 already.
I tried watching like that Moriarty, whatever. And I think I gave that a half episode, and I said,
it had so much potential. It had so much potential. I really liked it. I skipped to the end. I'm not going to hold you. I skipped to the end. I was so upset. I gave it my 3 episodes, but then I skipped to the end.
Yeah, sorry. It didn't grab me. What else new? But I was just so pissed by the detective is already dead. I was so pissed by it. I was just like, why aren't you what I want you to be? And I know it.
That's life.
Well, I don't know what to say. Why aren't you what I always wanted you to be? Because this sounded so good by title. Should have read the premise. Didn't.
Yeah.
Because I was excited and I thought, ooh, it's going to be good. And then it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. Yeah. And yes, it had supernatural elements. It had sci-fi elements. And that's neat. It was weird. And it could have been really interesting. And if I had just allowed myself to get into it, I probably would have liked it. But I wasn't going to allow myself to get into it because it wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Well, I gave up. It's kind of one of those, like, if you go with no expectations, then you're kind of better. But it's like if I go in with already kind of semi-high expectations, and they crash and burn.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what Delico's Nursery that I'm watching right now. I went in with 0 expectations because I'm like, what is this about? I was like, oh, a guy
by a nursery, kids. By nursery, I was thinking like plant nursery. But you're thinking like child nursery.
No, child nursery.
Okay.
The art style, if you look at it, is really it's different. It's very unique.
What's it called?
Delico's Nursery.
Delico's Nursery. Okay.
Yeah. Turns out it's vampires. Ooh. You think they're humans, but they're actually vampires. It's a vampire society, a vampire world. Okay. So I was like, wait, we're vampires? Because I'm watching and I'm going, oh shit, we right out the gate, we fighting zombies. What's happening? Like when I take it up, like he's fucking them up, right? And I'm just like, right out the gate, like the show just started. Like what's happening? And then you see like the death of his wife, and you're just like, what the hell is happening? And then it obviously calms down, and you realize, okay, what's going on? And then the main guy, he's like, we need Delico, and then the other guy's like, we don't need him. We da 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 da. And he goes, we need him. He's literally the leader of this task force. What are you talking about? We need him here. And so then Delico shows up. He goes, oh, look at you, you're here. And then it's like that frenemy. Like they respect each other, but this one can't. The blonde one can't really stand him. Mm-hmm. But he's such a brilliant genius that there's like, I have so much respect for you. Mm-hmm. Get back to work because he's
just kind of like that. The mob guy is the
babysitter.
No, the mob guy is the house husband. Thank you. Is it anything like that?
A little, but that one's a bit more of a ha ha ha. This one has its ha 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 moments, but it's a little bit more serious because of the universe they're in. Mm-hmm. Purely because that's not the right picture.
That was Black Butler.
Yes, it was. See.
Oh.
Yeah. He has twins, so that's his kid. That's his kid. That's his kid. That's his kid. Right.
Obviously.
So, and he has a baby.
Yeah.
So.
May as well show them.
Yeah. We'll probably put a better picture up in case it doesn't really focus. The camera doesn't focus on it.
It probably won't.
But basically, he's like, I have to take care of my children because that was my wife's dying wish. She told me to love our children, take care of them, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the blonde one, he feels guilty because he killed his wife. Oh. Spoilers, sorry. He killed his wife, right? But then you find out why he killed him because it's like, how are y'all still friends? He killed your wife, the fuck?
Well, I mean, I just spoiled all of the detective is already dead, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just throw something in the front that says, spoiler warning, so whatever.
At the moment, it still grabbed my attention, and I've passed the 3 episode mark on it, so at the moment, it still grabbed my attention. It's still interesting to me because they're dealing with some guys now. Basically, you have the one vampire that is connected to all of the entire mankind race. Uh-huh. And so you have Delico. He's kind of just like, why are we trying to please this bipolar entity that ain't nothing? And everyone's like, you can't be saying that to them. And he goes, I said it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm already pissed off. Like, I said it. And because
the words are already out there. It's too late now.
Yeah, because basically what it is they said that if the main guy, the true vamp, is happy, everyone else can coexist. Everything is fine. But the minute he gets or she gets stressed out about something, that feeling tears down to everybody else, and people start like themselves in different various ways. And so like they've already gone through one of those before, and they're like, we don't want that to happen again. They was like, that's horrible. We don't want that to happen again. So we gotta pacify them and make sure that they don't find out that there is a
it's just a whole self-destructive people, ain't they?
Yeah, but there's a group out there that's trying to get to the true vamp, and so what they're doing is they're killing off other vampires, and so they're wanting that news to get back to the true vamp so that the true vamp can lose his fucking mind.
Gotcha.
And there's like, we don't need that to happen. And so with the nursery, here's why they call it a nursery. It's technically the headquarters, but they changed it to nursery because he goes, I need to take care of my children. So y'all deuces, figure it out yourselves. And he goes, we're not going to fucking figure it out ourselves. You can do both. And he goes, oh, you want me to solve this case, to work on it, and take care of my 2 children? Really? Oh, he said, okay, bet. Guess what? Y'all bring y'all kids then. And they go, what? He goes, yeah, no. He goes, who's taking care of your kids? The nannies, of course. We're royalty. We don't have to do all that. And he goes, okay. He goes, I appreciate that you have so much confidence and faith in me and my abilities to multitask and take care of my 2 children, plus do this case and put all my attention towards this case as well. He goes, bet. Oh, okay, you're right. I'll do it. I'll come back to work on one condition. What is that? Goes to the next scene. He took my toy, and all of them is going like this. And then because two out of the 4 guys was like, all right, cool, bet you're not coming back, cool. But
did he give them the twins to basically have to take care of them?
Well, he asked him. He goes, you have kids around my age? He goes, yes, I have 2 twin daughters. He goes, okay, and you have a kid too? He goes, yeah, what about it? And then the moody one, he goes, because
the other one wasn't moody, apparently.
No, this one's very like moody. And then he goes, you have a son as well? He goes, yes, my son. He's the oldest, technically, out of all of them. He goes, so all of y'all have children. None of y'all take care of your children. Your nannies take care of your children, or your wives take care of your children. As you can see, my life is gone. Yes, I do have, nannies and maids and servants, but I want to take care of my children. Mm-hmm. And the blonde's like, or you can give them to the fucking nanny and get your ass back to work. And he goes, you know what? Bet. You won't think I can do everything? Bring your children here. This is where we're going to be working at, out of my manor. And so now all of their children are there. So now their boss goes, you know what? This is going to be the new headquarters, but we're not going to call it headquarters. We're going to call it the nursery. Ooh. So that's why it's called Delico's Nursery, because all the kids are at his house, and they all have their own issues. Mm-hmm. So like now you have Delico's oldest son is kind of jealous of the baby because he feel like his dad's getting all his attention to the baby and not him. And then you have the broody looking one with the gray hair. His son wants to participate with those little kids, but he goes, no, I have to be mature. I have to do this. Dad wants me to be mature, And also he keeps getting divorced. He can't keep a wife. So he's like, I'm done trying to keep getting married. I have my kids, all I need. But then his servants are like, or maybe you could get married and give your son a mom figure in his life, because your son's fucking depressed, dude. But he doesn't notice that yet. Right? Lovely. He doesn't notice that yet. So he's trying to be as mature as his father, because his father is very, what of a nobility vampire is supposed to be. And so the son's trying to do the same thing, but he's miserable. He's talking to stuffed animals that's talking to him, but it's all in his head. So they all got their issues, but they're all working through it, and I'm very, very interested. Not to mention, if a vampire bites another vampire, they basically can, they use a word for it, but basically take over that vampire and you mind control them. So it's crazy. It's good. But that's not one of the ones I stopped watching. I am continuously watching that. I'm sorry, we went on a tangent. Is it my turn?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we were on that. That's how we got on the dead thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Wow. We were still on mine.
We were still on yours, yeah.
Okay.
I was just trying to give you something to cleanse your palette from that.
Sure.
But the art style is it's like almost like penciled. So it's really cool. Yeah, like color pencil. So you might like that just purely for the art style.
Okay.
Another one that I don't like, and I couldn't even get past episode 2. I forced myself to finish episode 1. It's called VTuber Legend. It's not for me. It's
probably not for anybody, by the way you described it.
I don't like it at all. And I think I did like a little short on it a little bit. Basically, it's a world full of streamers, right? They all work and they do different types of streams. This one girl, she has her persona out there. Is really soft-spoken, sweet person that everyone listens to at nighttime, like on their drive home or getting ready to go to bed or whatever. Well, one day she forgets to turn off her stream, and it's still recording. And she cracks up in the beer, and her language gets very crude and very like, you blink this and you blink that. because they're censoring what she's saying, and everyone else is like, oh my God, is her thing still on? Oh my God, she's still streaming. Think of it as Shannon Sharp situation that just recently happened on Instagram. Think of that.
I have no idea who that is, but okay.
Yeah, think of that. The situation that he's dealing with Instagram. He was getting his thing on with the lady, didn't know that his Instagram live was on, and everyone heard it. Yeah.
Oh,
think of that. Think of that situation. Now, she's not banging nobody, but she's talking about banging people, other streamers that she like. And she goes, oh, I would bling, 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 bling. You know, they're censoring what she's saying. But those streamers are also listening to her stream, so they're hearing what she's saying about them. And it's in a world where you have, like, you know, demi-humans and demons and stuff, so it's not uncommon. At first I thought people just cosplaying, but no, I think that's their actual features. And then the second episode basically comes up with her manager calling her and be like, yo, you were live the entire time. Turn off your stream. It's still going on right now. Like, you slept this whole thing. People done heard your most derogatory behavior, but at the same time, that's why we hired you. We thought that's what you were going for, to be this crude, you know, VTuber, and then you came with this switcheroo trying to be this angel person online when that's not who you really are. We wanted you to be yourself. And she goes, oh, well, should I do that? And then she just continued. She continued with it, but I'm just like, it's a certain amount of, I think for me, what turned me off from this anime was the fact that, like, there was a flow they could have taken to get you to that part, but it's like just thrown in your face automatically, and you're just like, okay, you can ease up on the crudeness. I get this is who your personality is, but
there's such a thing as too much. I mean, we're crude people.
Yes,
the two of us are quite crude.
All at once. It's like it was like forced. It didn't feel natural, even though that was her personality, right? Like her true personality. It just seemed forced to me. Like they were just coming up with, oh, I would blank your blank, and I would have you blank my blank, and beer is life, and I'll marry beer. And then you had the dominatrix VTuber come up, and she goes, well, how do you feel about, you know, two girls together? And she goes, oh, I will marry you, and I will blank, blank, blank. And I'm like, oh, okay, we have a lot more blanks than conversation. So
when half of the entire episode is literally having to be blanked out because it's too crude, that's too much.
Yeah, and I'm like, this isn't funny. It's not for me. It could be for somebody out there, but that anime,
I'm sure it's for somebody out there.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. So I couldn't even get past the second episode. I couldn't even get to my 3 episode limit on this one. Yeah. And I don't think, like I said in my little short, I don't think I'd go back to it just because of that. And you had one who's like, she was a gamer on the show, in the anime, and they were using swords, and the swords were sausages. Oh. And they were different length sausages and different colored sausages, and which sausages is going to win? And then I'm just like, really? This isn't funny. Like, this is...
Subtlety is your best friend. And if it's not even subtle, then that's too much sometimes. Like, listen, there's such a thing as going too far with full-on comedy, fully intended. And then there's just going too far, but completely failing on the comedy side of it. And that's what
it was. It was to me, it was failing on the comedy side. Now, if you read the synopsis, I thought it sounded really good. I'm like, okay, I can't wait till, you know, it comes out with this episode and everything. And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, no. It's just, yeah. But that's why I dropped that one. And it's going to be one that I probably will not pick up. Unlike the one I said earlier, the Outcast, I might go back and give it another shot. But that one is definitely a no. What's your next one?
My next one, I plan to finish this one. I do. I'm not giving up on this one. I get distracted and I haven't finished it, but it's on my list. It's on my list to finish. I just haven't done it. So don't ring me for this one. I haven't finished Code Geass yet.
Bruh.
I plan to. It's on my list of to finish. I've started it. My problem is that I got distracted by like 3 other things and just never got back around to it. That's really the long and short of it. Like,
doesn't he die?
Yeah, probably. I think he dies. I think the girl he falls in love with dies. I think half the people in that show dies. Yeah, so that's not going to be for you. But I plan to finish it. It just hasn't been finished is all. And that's really the long and short of it on that one. Like, it'll get finished eventually. I like Johnny Young Bosch. He's an excellent voice actor. So I plan to watch it just to finish it and listen to more of his wonderful voice work. I just haven't finished it. That's all. It's on the list to do. Just haven't done it.
I don't plan on watching it because everybody died. That's what I got to say on it. I knew he died and I said, nope, take it off the screen. My next life as a villainess is an isekai. And honestly, the reason why I stopped watching it is because the main character got on my nerves. She got on my nerves to the point that, and I gave it more than 3 episodes because it had an interesting well, it's been a overdue plot, but it's like it had an interesting run where, you know, the person dies, they end up in the game that they were playing or the book that they were reading, right? Mm-hmm. So she knew what her path was, and all the paths led to a certain death. And so she goes, okay, well, then I don't want any of this. I don't want to be the villain in the story anymore, even though that's what I was written as. And so she spends the majority of her time changing her fate, right? Mm-hmm. And she's so wrapped around not dying that she's not realizing that she's changed her fate enough that everyone that would potentially be the reason that she dies likes her. Like, they all like her and all fell in love with her, right? But she is so fixated on don't die that she's not paying attention, like enjoying the life that she's in, enjoying the world that she's in, and realizing, oh, actually, I've changed enough to where my fate is okay. This prince that I was supposed to marry in the original one, and I was a horrible human being and got me, he actually genuinely likes me now because I'm not like that anymore. And so she is so hung up on sustaining herself and like, you know, I'm going to grow my farm, I'm going to do this, so therefore if I am exiled, I can take care of myself. But she's so wrapped up on that, she's not noticing that all the key players that was connected to her downfall at some point or another
have changed their mind.
They generally like her because, again, I think it was a game or book or something that she was reading, she's a horrible human being. Like, that her character that she ends up in the body in is a horrible person. But since she basically changed their view and their thoughts of her, that they genuinely like her, and she's so wrapped up on not dying that she doesn't see that. And so that's all her focus is. And I'm like, okay, I get being dumb for a little bit, but you're being dumb through this entire show. Like, at some point, get a clue. Like, hello. Because there's another one that's similar to this one. I actually finished it and I really enjoyed it.
Was it the one about the mom?
Mom?
Was it the one about the mom that was like OP in the next world, whatever?
No, she wasn't a mom. It was similar to this girl. She said she'll date the.
Because I thought there was one about a mom who was like, my mom is super powerful in the next whatever or something.
I thought that was my sister. My sister is super powerful in another world or something. That was, again,
there's so many.
It's got like this weird complex thing going on. Like, she has like one punch and she'll kill you, whoever. So it was a weird sister brother complex thing in that one. I kind of know what you're talking about. Now, this one, it was kind of like, I'll tame the villain or something like that, or the villainess tames the something. Mm-hmm. But I really liked that one. And because, one, she's changing her fate, but she also be like, oh, I'm generally falling in love with the quote unquote the villain in the story. Like, he's actually a good person, and this is what we can do together. Blah 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 blah. She actually has that clarity of, okay, I am changing my fate so I don't die, which is the point. But also, I'm actually generally getting feelings for this person. They generally have feelings for me. So why not? You know, mm-hmm. Whereas this one is these people are falling in love with her and she has no damn clue. Still had no clue. And I gave it past my 3-episode limit because it was interesting at one point, but she still was clueless. And I'm like, I can't keep dealing with this idiocy. Mm. So that's my take on that one. What's the other one?
I won't finish this one either. I couldn't get into it. One Punch Man. Yeah. What else is new? No. Sorry. Tried. I couldn't get into it. I was bored. The very concept of a character that is so strong that he can literally punch a character dead in one punch. I got it. I understood what they were trying to do with it, and they were trying to like break the mold by doing something that was so obviously ridiculous, yada, 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 whatever. Guess what? I got bored. And you know what the biggest problem is with a lot of these series for me is people start getting real spoilery with a lot of stuff, so you already know a lot of what's going to happen. Yeah. But I think in all due fairness, a lot of people didn't like season 2. Like, they felt like season 2 went too far off from what the original premise was supposed to be, I think. I don't know. That's something I think I heard. And I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not interested. I tried.
One Punch Man, I didn't finish it. Not because it was like wasn't good or anything. It just couldn't hold my interest long enough. That was just kind of the main thing with it. Like, it had its moments. It was like, haha, because I get the point of what the show is about. It's supposed to just be kind of like brainless, funny, whatever. It didn't hold my interest enough for me. I forgot how far I got in it, but I watched a good chunk. But I was just like, it's funny in certain spots. And it's like, I don't dislike it, but it was like...
you're running the same joke into the ground.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Reborn. That running out of your clothes because you're powering up got old really damn fast. Yeah. So I never finished that one either.
Well, anyway.
I have one more on my list. Where did that go?
I threw it behind me. I don't know where it went.
Okay. I have one more, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet because, again, like I said, I don't think I even got past the first couple episodes. I skipped to the end just to see how it ended because I was curious. But No Game, No Life, I couldn't stand the sensory overload. The animation style, the colors that they use, it gave me a headache. Like, I really couldn't get over the coloring. Maybe if it was, I wouldn't say diluted because that would just look bad. But I guess all the bright pastel-y colors, just, I couldn't get into that. And then the weird sister-brother thing.
They upped the brightness on it so much that it was literally just overload. So I'm right there with you. I couldn't. I don't think it was right anyway because there was like this whole gross brother-sister complex, whatever thing also going on. So even if they didn't have sensory overload with the oversaturated colors and the overly highlighted brightness, whatever situation they were doing, that whole brother-sister complex thing was never going to work for me. That's disgusting. No.
I don't think I watched it far enough to really get too deep into the complex.
I gave it an episode and a half, and I said, no way.
But it was the colors. I couldn't focus on nothing else because the colors was just too much for my eyes. Like, it hurt too much for me to even watch it. It hurt my eyes, too. And that was back in, what was it, college that one came out for us. It was college time. And I could not, I was like, these colors. Let me put them. There was potential for the show. Like the concept of it, getting sucked into the game or sucked into the internet, whatever the case. But it was just the color. It was too pastel-y bright. I don't like pastel colors anyway, but pastel-y bright in your face. It was just too much.
It hurt my eyes. Yeah, I felt like I had to go to the eye doctor after every episode.
Like the colors was just too much for me. So I'm saying for me because obviously there's people out there that like these animes. But these are just my opinions on them.
Yeah,
like I said, VTube is a fairly new-ish anime. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that like it.
Oh, probably.
It's kind of, I'm going to keep that thought in my head. There's something out there for everyone. Let me put it that way. Those who know where I was going with that. But anywho, that's our list of takes of animes that we stopped watching and why. And some of them we might actually go back to.
I will definitely go back to Code Geass because I know it's good. It's just one of those ones where when you get spoiled on a show, you're more hesitant to ever actually go back and finish it because you already know what's going to happen. You know how things are going to turn out. Everyone's already talked about it on the internet of what event's going to take place, when and how and why. And so you already know everything. And it's just like, well, why do I need to watch something that I've already got the entire backstory on?
Yeah.
Whatever, Which is
why I stopped watching Fairy Tail. I got told the entire show and I'm like, I like this. Now I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's why I stopped watching Fairy Tail.
I do think you need to go back and finish Fairy Tail, though, just because it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I really think you need to. And I know you've been spoiled on it.
It'd be one of those I literally have to start from the beginning.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. But anywho, if this ever gets out and whoever watches it, please let us know in the comments below which ones were your take and which ones did you like and what animes would you recommend us watching.
And don't ever come after us for these.
I mean, you could, but you ain't going to get nothing out of it.
Yeah, really.
So. Bye. Like and subscribe.
Later. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
All that jazz.
That jazz. Oh my god! I didn't pause it yet.
That was the ideal.